Hey everybody, it's Cam from Inky Knuckles coming at you on back-to-back nights. Thanks everyone for tuning in last night with the man, John Lee. Awesome conversation, incredible artist, great visionary mind, and it's fantastic chatting with him and all you guys. Plenty of John Lee stuff coming up in 2021, and I'm really excited for what that brings. But tonight, we are going to be talking with the man, the myth, the legend, the Eisner nominee, and the visionary mind artist behind Crimson Flower. Without further ado, Mr. Matt Lesniewski. Matt, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Excited to chat with you. We haven't had an extended chat in quite some time, and we haven't talked face to face in quite some time. So, always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been at least a year, right? Since we've seen each other. I think it was C2E2.
It might have been C2E2 2018. So
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it that long?
Yeah. You got the.
We talked on the phone, but besides that.
Yeah, that was the big one. We had you got the full dose of us rabid collectors at that time too. Our collecting contingency and bunch of rowdy hooligans. It was a fun weekend. Yeah, it was. I can't wait till we can all go back. So
I miss it. I miss the travel. I miss the seeing all the different people and conventions in general.
Bummer. It's been so long, you kind of forget what it's like. But it was a blast, and hopefully we can get there again soon. But I guess today, thanks for having you on. It's the first time on the Inky Knuckles live stream. Big day for you. Crimson Flower, your first Dark Horse release. Your first release that's a collaborative effort. Am I wrong?
No, that's right. Yeah. Well, actually, technically, I did a 5-page thing with Kurt Pyers in it was an Image Comics anthology, but that was a couple years ago. But yeah, technically it's as far as being in comic shops and that kind of thing, yeah, with another writer, this is pretty much the first major, thing. So
for sure, and it's a great collaborative team you guys are on. Well, speaking of Kurt, he's from Calgary, so another local to me guy.
Nice.
But
nice.
Yeah, I met him. Him and Eric Zawatsky were doing a signing at my LCS, and obviously I know Eric, but first time I met Kurt, is a really interesting guy, and he's doing some great work as well. But so we'll just jump into it, kind of just chat. Because I know you've been waiting a while for this book to come out, and Static obviously is out later this year. What's the anticipation like for the release day? Is it kind of like, you've talked to your collaborators? I'm sure you guys probably gave some early copies to some people for review and everything you did, but what's the anticipation like leading up to a day like today? I got to guess it's pretty exciting, nerve-wracking.
I mean, it's a little bit anticlimactic because you can't really go anywhere, but it's still really cool to see everyone react and send messages and comments and that kind of thing. But yeah, I started it, I want to say it was right before the pandemic. So I think we had one issue finished, and then that happened. And yeah, we after one issue, everything changed, obviously. And actually, Static was supposed to come out first. That was meant to come out in October, and because of the pandemic, it got pushed. And then I started doing Crimson Flower, and So yeah, it's been, I don't know, these are weird times, and I
They are,
I don't know.
and
It's hard to remember it all. So yeah,
well,
I remember the
thank God.
beginning, and now we're here. So it's, I don't know.
Well, and I guess we'll kind of move into Crimson Flower. I'm just gonna. I don't have any of the Crimson Flower pages up. I'm just gonna bring up just some of your work as we chat.
Okay.
And this is one of my favorite commissions you have ever done. So I feel we can gawk at this while we chat.
All right. Cool.
But it was, yeah, it's been such a crazy year. And like, I'm really thankful for comics and creative minds like yourself, because even during the pandemic, there has been some incredible stuff that's been put out, whether it was created before, during, and whenever it was released, is some incredible work. And I think Crimson Flower is right up there with it. Reading through it, and I kind of gave you a little grief on Twitter today. I was trying to one up you by telling you that I got to read the original pages.
You might have been the first.
yeah, and it was awesome. And you don't
Thanks.
get that very often because things are hand lettered. And there's Mr. Evan Cagle. He promised to hop on yesterday, but I think
Thanks,
he
Evan.
felt too cool for me. Me and John, I'm just kidding, Evan. But yeah, this Etrigan piece is amazing. But for yourself, and I'm just curious, because we kind of draw our own conclusions about work sometimes. And I know your work on Crimson Flower is, I don't know if it's evolved or experimental in your eyes. It's quite a bit different from your freak work or even what you've done for Static. I was just curious, was that something you had planned on doing with the story, or was this collaborative effort, did that allow you to go in a little bit of a different direction because you didn't have to worry so much, about the writing aspects?
Yeah, the fact that I didn't have to, keep the whole ship, or the whole train on the tracks by myself, it definitely allowed me to just focus completely on the art. But like I said, I did Static first before this book. So I feel like Static, what I was doing on that, I feel like I was there was a lot of learning going on in that book, and it was kind of the transition between what I did on the Freak and what I did on Crimson Flower. So it was different though, because once I started Crimson Flower, it's just completely two different headspaces, because when I'm working by myself, it's so much more personal, and it's just me, and it's like this, lone wolf pursuit.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of getting lost in my own madness, and I'm keeping not deadlines in mind, because I didn't necessarily have deadlines for Static or the Freak, but with this, the pandemic actually did kind of give me more time, but
Right.
I'm keeping in mind, I've got a colorist, and I don't want to. This is all stuff that I kind of put on myself, but I don't want to leave him hanging. And hey, there he is. I don't want to leave him hanging with nothing to color, so I'm kind of, and there, there's this whole publisher, and there's a whole team, so I don't want to let anybody down. So I force myself to kind of hustle way more than I did on any other book. So
Right.
that probably did affect things. And I don't know if it's positive or negative. It definitely, I'll say this, it definitely taught me how to find a little bit more of a streamlined approach,
Right.
which is something I haven't really done before. Like most of these pages I did I'd say the average page took me either a day and a half, 2 days max.
Yeah.
With the rare one being like 3 days. And most of that was, like I said, it was my own. I had way more time than I originally was going to have, but I still kind of, I don't know, it's just my own mental craziness. I'm telling myself, no, come on, you don't want to be the weak link in this team. You gotta hustle. You gotta, even though none of that was really going on, it was just my own thing. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, especially, I don't know. I just wanted to prove something. I wanted to prove like I'm a professional. I can do this. I'm good. You're gonna want to hire me again.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But I did want to challenge myself and see, can I do kind of like a monthly thing? That classic
Yep.
schedule we all know about. But that being said, a book I'm doing right now by myself, I'm going completely the opposite route, and it's one where I'm kind of going to, I'm going back to what I did on the Freak, like just getting lost in it, and it's just a completely different mindset where I'm. You want me to actually show you the page?
Absolutely.
I've got it right here.
Was this the one you posted more recently?
Yeah,
The,
I showed it pretty recently. Here's the first page.
beautiful.
So I actually started this, and then here's a kind of an establishing shot. I am terrible at getting this on camera the right way.
It goes the opposite direction. Yeah.
There we go.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the first page. But I don't know. I started it. I had a false start with it, and I realized as I was doing it, I'm hating it. I don't know why. Maybe I was depressed or something. I don't know. I got in this weird creative funk for like a week straight, and I kind of forgot. Yeah, I should be loving this. This should be enjoyable. But I'm hating every second of it, and I'm not sure why. So I kind of went back to a different mindset I had when I was doing the Freak, where how can I put that into words? It's like kind of like doing it in a way that it's, I don't want to say undeniably good, but you'd have to at least, I'm drawing the pages in a way that you'd have to at least sit back and respect it and go, wow, he really drew that thing. Like, even if you don't like it, you're going to look at it and say, damn, he drew that page. He definitely drew that page. He did his thing on it.
There's blood, sweat, and tears in that ink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but this is just kind of a side thing I'm doing in my free time. Yeah, it's my next solo book, but at the pace I'm going, I don't know when that'll even see the light of day. So,
well, you've got a few more things to release between now and then, but I just wanted to jump back for a second. It's funny you talked about, you really want to pull your weight on the team. It's your first collaboration, essentially, other than your brief one with Kurt. But I think, I can attest to anyone who probably knows you would want to work with you anyways. I don't think there was, I know you're trying to prove yourself, but knowing how meticulous you are, knowing how much you care about what it is you're doing and how passionate you are, and, how amazing your work is, I think, and I'm not just trying to blow smoke here, but I think, I don't want to speak for your collaborators, but I imagine you're a dream to work with in that regard. So,
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
Evan feels your pain. Matt.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Love your work, by the way.
You should. Well, he keeps claiming he's going to hop back on here, but I don't know. He's.
He should. I'm sure he's a busy guy, though.
Yeah, he's got his big book hopefully coming soon. But
Nice.
with Crimson Flower, I just wanted to talk about, it's a very interesting book. It's very interesting the direction it goes. It's not what you think. There's things you need to go back and look at. There's a lot of visual storytelling, a lot of show don't tell, which is awesome. I talked with John about that last night. I feel like there's a ton of respect you guys are giving your readers. But there's pages, and I've seen a few of the other. Obviously, I've seen some of the other issues, but there's one or two times in each issue where there's a page in there that is just like, bang, whatever you want to call this genre of book is perfect for what you guys were doing. And there's the end of issue 1, the last page in issue 1. Won't spoil too much. Is one I'm thinking of. There is an early page, I believe, in issue 2. I'm not going to say what's in them or what it is, but I just so vividly remember, and I'm reading it on 11 by 14, it's cool. And I just can promise you guys who haven't read it yet, as the series goes on, you're going to love it. It's awesome. And here, Bill just said that Matt said he thought this Crimson was the best thing he'd worked on, which is
crazy. Cool. I don't know. He's lying.
No, it's a very interesting book. It's gorgeous. It's got a story to tell.
Thank you.
It's not like things we've read in the past. I think, and you're still quite young. And to see you, and I always hate to say experimental, because I think sometimes it undercuts what it is you're doing and what you guys are trying to accomplish. But some of the risk you've taken in a few spots, and I don't know if you view them as risks, but as a reader, I'm like, oh, that was kind of a risky maneuver, but that paid off. Whatever Matt was trying to accomplish here, it's not what I was expecting, but it's beautiful.
Thanks. I don't know what exactly you're talking about, but it would be cool to see what you mean. But thank you. There are definitely some moments, I would say, towards the end, probably issue 3 or 4, where I kind of had some kind of a evolution or breakthrough, I guess you could say. I don't want to classify it or name it or anything, but while I was doing it, and I think it was probably the story that inspired it, but things definitely got strange, you could say that. But because I don't know, this is just my opinion, but if you look at the first issue, and then you look at the last, I don't know, it's completely different. Like, there are just so many different things I'm doing in there. But it's funny you say the last page of the first issue. That's actually one of my least favorite. I'm kind of not embarrassed of that page, but I'm a little bit like, I wish I would have. You mean the one where she's kind of seeing herself?
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh,
I think
no,
Bill.
sorry.
I think Bill actually mentioned that one, but I don't know that one. But go ahead.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Sorry, I was drawing a blank. Yeah, I obviously won't.
She's driving on the page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, I mean, it's just my opinion. It's so if.
And it's so bizarre because I think I saw that page out of context as when you sent me the package. I was going through pages. I wasn't reading the pages. I was just sorting them, and I saw that page. I'm like, oh, the end of issue 1. I'm like, and seeing something like that out of context, is like, I'm like, what the hell? It really piqued my interest, and I was going to read it anyways. But I think, maybe that's why I think that kind of grabbed me in a way. Seeing that out of context, I thought the book was going to be one thing. Then reading it, it's something else entirely. And it's awesome. And I love hearing your approach to this, because with you are so detailed in everything you do that even when you go in a different direction, like you said, there's a ton of detail. It's not, okay, I'm just going to start throwing washes on the page, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to take a shortcut. This won't take me as long. I think everything you do is very thorough, even when you might feel like it's not.
Thanks. See, you said the word shortcut. That kind of jogged my memory. But when we were talking about earlier how I had a different approach to this comic, well, I would say honestly in this comic in Crimson Flower, I did learn how to kind of do certain shortcuts. I guess you could call them that, but while still keeping it at a level that I want it to be at. So I think, I don't know, in this, if I learned anything from this while drawing it, besides the the evolution I was talking about, I kind of found a balance where I could do what I want to do in a page, but still not find a shortcut, but kind of make choices that allow me to get a lot done without sacrificing too much.
Right.
Whereas in the Freak, there are no shortcuts. It's there are no excuses. This has to be undeniable in its own way. It needs to be, kind of like that page I just showed. I'm going back to that just on this book, but yeah, it's two different approaches. So.
Well, speaking of the Freak, I had this one queued up.
Oh, nice.
This was the special release, the slip
cover.
The
hardcover.
Yeah. And this ended up in the hands of the man who shall remain nameless, by the name of Ryan Sherwood. He seems to always get the good stuff. But I think he snagged this from you at C2E2. I believe,
he did.
Or at least
he did. There. It was at the end of the show. I remember that.
But he loves to talk about this piece.
And that's
this
actually.
Piece is,
I think
sorry,
you're
go
breaking
ahead.
Up a little bit.
Oh, I might be. Can you hear me all right?
I think you're good now.
Okay. Yeah. Hear me all right now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so everyone's got a different texture of clothing. I speak about no shortcuts on here, but it is a beautiful piece, and to see the original is pretty astounding. So, great one. But one thing, Matt, before we move on, because
that is.
Okay, I don't know if I lost Matt or if he's breaking up. Ryan, anyone in the?
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, we're glitching out a bit here. Just hang tight with us for a few seconds, guys. Don't know where the problem is. Oh, I think it's Matt's connection. Okay, can you guys hear me all right?
I'm still here, but everything's dark.
Okay, I think they said you're stalling, so we'll just give it a sec here, see if it comes back. Okay. Well, guys, while we wait, and Matt, while he comes back on,
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Okay, good. Before we move on, we're going to start talking about the Freak, and we're going to be doing some more things. I just want to let some people know, and I know there's going to be some pissed off collectors out there, and my apologies, but it's kind of unprecedented territory, and it's really exciting. But the Crimson Flower pages, the series has actually sold complete. So I apologize to all you guys out there who are interested in buying pages. We will have some Crimson Flower cover or covers from other artists in the group that will become available. But the pages and the covers, all of Matt's work has been sold complete. So congrats to Matt. It's very well deserved. And congrats to the awesome collector who picked him up.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep. You're back now. Can you hear us all right?
Hello?
I can hear that.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Am I here now?
Yep, you're good now. It seems like we've got a little
I think
bit
it's my
of
connection.
uninterrupted. That's okay. I don't know if you heard Matt, but I
heard
let
the
the
announcement.
folks know. Okay, good. I figured I'd take that opportunity before
I
we
heard the
moved on
announcement
to
and I was falling into another dimension. But yeah, am I clear now? Am I good?
Yep.
All right. I don't know if the person wants to remain anonymous, so I'm just gonna give a public thank you. Big thank you. Really appreciate it. I'm speechless. We talk privately, but yeah, I just want to say thanks. So I'm super grateful. And apologies to anybody who wanted a page, but still have static pages and dagger pages.
Dagger.
Right.
And
some freak pages.
Some freak pages and the Ninja Turtles cover.
Right.
Which I picked up today. It's just sitting on my stack of books right there. But yeah, so fear not, you guys. I understand why there'll be some people who are a little upset by that, but it's awesome. It's very well deserved. And if you read Crimson Flower and you need something from Matt, just reach out to me about his commission list if and when it's open, and we'll chat then. So there's lots of original art to be had from this amazing fella, and but Crimson Flower pages will not be available kind of as we move forward. So and I don't want to brag, but I got to see them in person before they moved on. So awesome. Well, and
shout out to Carlos.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It's not him.
Carlos and Octavio were part of the C2E2 crew.
Yep.
I don't know if David was on here either, but we had a really good time. Carlos was almost beat up by Rob Liefeld's son at the show, but no, I'm just kidding. Rob and his son were there. We were hanging out with. We had a kind of had drinks with Mark Silvestri, and it was really great.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. There's Rod. We had lunch at the barbecue place. We're gonna live stream our entire con experience next time we're at Chicago. So uncut and unedited, hotel bar.
That'd be cool.
See what happens. But so going back to the Freak, Matt, Eisner nominee. That's pretty crazy this early in your career. The Freak was really, really interesting book. Your work was really dynamic in it. And obviously, like we talked about, that was all you. Um, how did it feel? I know, you're very much, storyteller, very dynamic, unique artist. But to get, recognition like that, was it pretty gratifying to hear about that?
Man, it was. I'm still in disbelief on that. Yeah, it definitely was to a certain extent. It kind of made me feel like, okay, yeah, I'm not crazy. Like this is maybe I'm not that I need recognition to let me know I'm doing something right, but it definitely helps. So I don't know when it happened. When I got asked, do you want to submit this to be considered? I just thought it was a complete waste of time. Yeah, I guess you could, but and then when I found out, I was just completely shocked. I went through different stages of, how they have the stages of grief. Well, I had the stages of disbelief or something. The first stage was just complete shock, don't believe it, can't be real. The second stage is, oh, well, I guess these things don't mean that much. I guess they're not that important. Now that I have it, it must not be that special. And there were different levels of delusion. And then now I'm a little more in reality, still surprised and shocked and honored, but you know, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. The stages of joy. Yeah. I mean, I
No,
really appreciate it, but I never would have expected that in my entire, I hope to be doing this for decades, and I never
yeah.
thought, oh, well, I'm not going to get that. There's no way. I'm me. I'm just some guy who draws weird stuff, and I don't know. Somebody liked it. I don't know.
Well, I think more than one person liked it. Yeah, and I'm really anxious to see, excited to see more people get their hands on Crimson Flower and kind of go from there. Because I mean, I think it's always great, and I think you're so unique in what you do. Provides a really, really great reading experience, whether it's a collaborative effort with Bill and with Matt, or it's something you're doing on your own. But I'm just kind of curious because your work is very involved, and I know how hard you work, and I know why. I think I've seen you toy with some digital things lately, but I know you're a very traditional artist. Um, uh, do you get a chance to read a lot of comics, pay attention to a lot of other creators while you're working on a book, or are you so involved with what you're doing that you kind of just get lost in it?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, more that one. Yeah, I kind of maybe in between books, I'm looking at other stuff a little bit more, but while I'm actually doing it, I'm probably trying not to look at stuff, if anything, because I don't want
Yeah.
to shift my mindset. Like I could see a book and it sends me down another path that will make one issue look completely different from another, or another one chapter look completely different from another. But even in general, I don't really read as many comics as I'd probably like to. Um,
Yeah.
some people read just endlessly. They read everything. They've read the old stuff. They read the modern stuff. I haven't really read that many comics, to be honest. I mean, I have, but in comparison to the guys who, oh, I know this issue and this year, and this guy drew that, and they have this encyclopedic, mind, and I'm not that guy. I grew up with comics. My dad was a comic fan, so comics were always around before I could even read. I love them. I read them. I still read them, but I'm I consider myself more of a maker than a reader. You know, and you can be both, but I don't know. It, obviously I love comics, and that's not why. You know, I'm not reading comics because I don't like them. Is this making any sense?
No, it is
Okay.
totally. And Cycle just brings up Riley Rossmo, and I speak about him. He's one of those encyclopedic brains with comics.
Ah, okay.
He knows what artist is on what book at all times. I fear running him into the comic shop because, you know, I kid. I love Riley, but you know, my stack goes from 4 books to 17 when he's in there because he just starts
Nice.
pulling stuff off the shelf. You got to
You
check
need
this.
this.
You got to check this out. Yeah. And Adam Gorham is a lot like that too. And as a collector, it's amazing seeing and speaking to guys like yourself who, you know, you're not reading as many comics. You know, you kind of, and it's not to say you're not influenced by certain things, but it's always really cool to just chat comics with you guys and the differing perspectives, because I've spent lots of time in the comic shop with Troy, lots of time in the comic shop with Riley, and when I visited Adam last time I saw, or not the last time I saw him, but the last time I spent time with him and Dylan Burnett, went to Adam's comic shop, and it's something that's very cool just to spend some time just chatting comics and seeing everyone's perspective, because even what you take out of comics and how it affects your work is so different from Adam's. And you know, I can't speak to Riley as much, but Dylan's different, Riley's different. Your approaches are also different, but you know, it's, I think there's an equal level of passion towards comics. But in saying that, and we talked about this a long time ago, but you know, influences. Who did you grow up reading or appreciating in terms of artists, and maybe even now? Is there anyone out there right now who just kind of blows your mind, or who you just really enjoy, you really follow, and it doesn't have to be if their book's out. You know, I'm running to the LCS to get it, but you know, just kind of curious. Some of your older influences, some of your more modern guys that you like. It doesn't even have to be influences, just guys you appreciate and you really enjoy their work.
Oh man, there's so many. Uh, uh, older ones, I would say the earliest ones were probably Todd McFarlane, um, Kelly Jones, because my dad had a bunch of those, and that's what first caught my eye and made me, you know, just fall under a spell of comics and want to get lost in that world. Um, Probably because that explains all the detail and weird noodling and then the way I kind of distort things. I've always,
Yeah,
I don't know why I've liked kind of changing what the expected is and making it my own, because I don't know, I feel like if you're just drawing things in a way that people might expect, you're not really creating at that point. You're replicating what's already
yeah.
been done, and that kind of feels like work. It doesn't feel creative. It doesn't feel like you're, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it totally
So
does. Totally does.
okay. So those are probably my earlier ones, but then probably, I mean, there are so many. Probably around the time I was first trying to seriously break into comics. And at that time, I was just trying to be just a penciler, because I didn't know, I hadn't yet found the world of oh, this can be comics or anything. Comics can be, you can come up with an idea, come up with a story, come up with a character, come up with a whole world. All I knew was superheroes at
Yep.
at a certain point. And that was probably Greg Capullo. When he was
Okay.
doing Batman, like at the very beginning. I was into that at the time, and that was before I discovered, you know, it's before I expanded what I wanted to do in comics, because at a certain point I shifted what I was trying to do. Like at a certain point, I uh, I started trying to do my own stories and that kind of thing. So my influences were different. So who would be other ones? Um, James Stocco.
Oh, yeah. Stokoe's awesome. Love Stokoe's work. I feel like he's
Yeah,
underrated in a lot of ways.
you think so?
Yeah, I think so. I've always really appreciated his work. Um, yeah.
I just love the way that, like, when I look at his work, it feels like he doesn't have that thing that pretty much every other artist has, where they're so concerned about something being good or perfect. I'm, I feel when I look at it, I just get this this energy. Like he's just going for it. He's attacking the page. He's filling it. He's he's not concerned with anything. He's just, I don't know. Maybe that's not the case at all. Maybe he's very particular about what he's doing, and he's, you know. But I'm just really inspired by him. Like I'm looking at his stuff now, as I'm doing this other book, and he kind of got me inspired again when I was in that little rut, and I just open up one of his books and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what comics are. This is kind of what I should be trying to get this same energy. This, like, when you look at it, you can tell he just loves everything he's doing. He's not second guessing anything. He's not, and again, this is what I'm getting from it. I could be so far from the truth. He could be hating it. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's one of the more one of the more modern influences. Who else? Yeah, I'm inspired by a ton of artists, but I feel like the different stuff that I've tried, or the different, like that commission you've got up right now, getting to that point, I've learned the most through experience, and I've learned the most through just trial and error of my own. Like, oh, let me try this weird pattern, or can I draw a city and a leg? Can I use hearts as rendering? Oh wait, you can use anything as rendering.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a mix. How I've come to the point I'm at now, it's, looking at other artists, trying different stuff of my own. Yeah. You want me to keep going, like different ones?
No, that's good. I always like to hear that. Do you think, is there anyone out there who kind of, because I feel like so much of what you're doing, like you said, comes from experience, comes from, like, I don't want to say internally, but I feel like a lot of it is internally driven with you. I'm just curious, you spend so much time writing and drawing your own books and having a very singular approach to storytelling. And a lot of guys in the Inky Knuckles group are very much like that. James, Alexis, Troy, Matt Allison, Is there anyone out there in particular you think of that you really appreciate that does the singular storytelling vision, or is it just kind of you take the artist's work, you pick up on storytelling as you go? Is there any singular storyteller out there that kind of inspired you to do what you do, or was it just these are the stories I want to tell? And obviously, you've stepped over into collaboration to amazing effects, but I'm just curious on that. I always like to hear the reasons for attacking storytelling the way you do.
Well, Sticko would definitely be one for sure. I mean, we talked about him, but
Yeah.
as far as that singular voice or that singular vision, hmm, hmm.
And if there
Trying to
isn't
think.
one, it's totally fine.
He's the first one that comes to mind. Like I said, when I was in that rut, he woke me up out of it, and he kind of what I got from his work made me want to, go down a certain path. But then you're also asking about basically what got me into doing my own thing. Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Kinda?
Well, in a way, if
Well,
if there was some outside inspiration, or that was just, I want to tell my stories.
it was an evolution of, like I said, I wanted to be just a penciler at first, and then I was basically trying anything I could to break in at a certain point, and I just started with, oh, let me I'll do 3 pages writing, because I always thought, well, I'm not a very good writer. I'll just stick to drawing because I'm better at that. Stick to your strengths. But I just experimented with writing. So I started with 3 pages, and from that, I did the 3 pages, and from noticing, oh wow, I could do that. I realized, wait, there's more to this story. Kept going. Then I had a one shot. Oh wow, I can do this. So, so then I moved on to another one shot. And then I did my own miniseries, self-published. Not very good, but you kind of I'm learning the most from actually doing it, and it was baby steps. While I was doing that, it might not have been that good, but I was kind of realizing, oh wait, I can actually do this. Like I don't know if it's that good, but I can come up with anything I want. I can, you know, I can kind of write a story, and um, I just shifted gears at a certain point once I realized um, that I could do more. I could do this on my own, and that's actually at the time of the Freak. There was a complete mind shift where I was like, because before I was kind of looking for opportunities almost. I was looking to, not only was I doing my own thing and kind of discovering that, I was doing pitches with writers. I draw 3-4 pages and pitch it. Nothing happened. Just endlessly for a long time. Nothing working out because it wasn't very good. But um, like I said, once I got to the Freak, no longer was I looking for things. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
No excuses. This is going to be good. This is,
Yeah.
even if it's not going to be good, you're going to notice this, and you're going to respect it. It's going to
Yeah.
be, oh wow, who's this? He drew this? Who is this guy? There was something shifted in my mind where I just, no longer was it, who wants to work with me? Does anyone want to work with me? I'm doing it on my own. I'm Even if no one's going to help me, I'm doing it. So one so yeah, it's been a journey. This has been probably since I was maybe 20. I was first doing the sample pages, I don't know if anyone still does those, but where you draw 3 to 5, just fake pencils of a Batman story that no one's gonna read, and and you send it to everyone and no one accepts it. I did that for a long time, and then like I said, it's been a journey just finding what I really want to do with this and what I can do with this. So, but yeah, like I said, once I got to the Freak, once I had that idea, it was the idea mixed with that mindset shift. Like everything changed from there. It just and I have no idea what you asked me originally, but here we are.
No, that's good. And I think you speak of Stokel attacking the page, and even Evan talking about the moment you realize you don't need anyone's permission.
Yes. Yes.
You know, that confidence comes through in the work, and it's great. And I think, as we read more comics, as readers, as art collectors, you really kind of do take notice about this. There's this intangible thing that's happening that expresses itself on the page, and you can really tell. But no, that's very, very cool. I love seeing what you do next. And I've got your Turtles page up here, or Turtles cover up here. And Ryan, if you're out there, I got the last one at Another Dimension, our comic shop. So he usually beats me to all the variant covers for guys in the group. But
I don't even have one.
Well, I had to get it off the shelf, and it was $15.
Really?
But that's okay. I figured it would be more, so I was happy I found it. Because your Crimson Flower cover, I forget whose cover I had to pick up, because your covers, the books with your cover on, were all sold out at my shop. So
cool.
I was happy I could get my hands on this. Right there. Here, let's just. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Pretty cool covers.
Yeah, they're awesome. And I saw one today for issue 4 from Mr. Tyler Bentz.
Yes.
It's killer. He showed me before, but it wasn't, I hadn't seen the colored version yet. And the colored version is killer. So as I mentioned before, there will be some access to Crimson Flower art, but nothing from Matt. So if you want something, there's other stuff coming, or you can commission them. So don't fret. This guy loves to draw, and he loves to draw awesome things. So, we got the Turtles up there. Your brand of art and storytelling, for most of us, you presume it kind of lends itself to more independent work. Newer stories, not necessarily working with established characters, but in terms of established characters, it doesn't even have to be big too, but is there any that you would love to work on?
I was saying how I kind of found where I wanted to go with comics, but honestly, I want to do everything. At one point or another, I want to do superheroes. I want to do Turtles. Why not? I want to put my own spin on it. I want to. I'll work with writers. Obviously I'm open to that. I've done it, but any characters in particular? I got to do Batman. I mean, come on, why not? Even if it's just a one shot, that would be cool. Or maybe I don't know, like an extended, 60 page maybe, or something like that, like not a graphic novel, but that would be cool. Just my own, I write it, hand letter, drawing. I just gotta. Spider-Man would be cool. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. It is what it is. I would like to do it. I would like to have my stab at it, and then go back to my own thing. But what else? Nothing else is coming to mind. But I'm open to a lot of stuff. I would give
Rodney?
anything.
What would you do with Doctor Who? Rodney's asking for a friend.
I don't know anything about Doctor Who. I wouldn't do it. Honestly, I don't know anything about it, so sorry, I'm gonna have to pass it. That's the other thing. Being someone who hasn't read a ton of comics, I've read a lot, but not, like I said, I'm not one of these people who just knows everything. You'd be surprised what I don't know. Maybe I don't know Doctor Who. There's a lot of stuff I don't know.
Well,
So,
Rod, send us all your reference materials, and
I could do a commission, but for the whole comic, there's no way. I know nothing about it.
well,
There's a lot of stuff I don't know.
That's good. You can come in fresh. But yeah, well, and I was talking to John because John Lee was on last night, and he's not to say new to comics, but he just doesn't have that history of reading books like some other people have, and he's kind of in an enviable situation because there's so much great stuff out there that he and yourself maybe to a lesser extent still haven't read. So you get to read X book for the first time, Y book for the first time, and there's so much great stuff out there. It's funny because you talked about a 60-page one shot. I believe Brandon Graham's Rain Like Hammers was the other book I picked up today. That's an oversized one.
Yeah.
I don't know how many pages it is, but it's something.
I think it was like 50 or 50 something.
Yeah,
yeah, similar to that. I would like to do something like that. But
cool.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
You were saying, I get to read some of these comics for the first time. Some of them I don't even want to read, honestly, and it's nothing against them. I'm just not interested.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I just missed that boat, or I don't know. I just, when I go to a comic shop, which isn't as often as I would like to, I just walk in, see what grabs my attention. I usually look for unique stuff, and there's not a ton of that, sadly. And I look for stuff that's, like we were talking about, a singular. Okay, another example of that. Tom Scioli. I found his stuff right before I drew Static, and I knew nothing about him. I knew nothing about GoBots, but that's the book I found. I found the first issue of GoBots. Like I said, I don't like Transformers. Not only do I not know anything about it, I don't like it. But I found GoBots, which I guess is like a similar thing, but it instantly, I just saw the cover and it jumped out at me, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. I've never heard of this guy, but I started flipping through it. Everything was so his own thing. A lot of people say, oh, the Kirby thing, he's like a Kirby, super influenced by Kirby. Yeah, you could argue that. I see that, but I don't know. When I looked at that book, it's his own thing, in my opinion. I don't know. Just if no one's read that, go get GoBots #1. I recommend that. Even if you're not into it, I'm not into it. And if you look at Static, which obviously it's not out, but maybe you'll see the influence there. But I don't know. When I saw that, it really blew me away. I don't know. So yeah, shout out to him. Don't think he even knows who I am, but he's awesome.
Oh, and one cycle says Transformers versus G.I. Joe, and I'd heard the GoBots thing on a podcast I was listening to, and someone else had kind of spoken to that because like you're thinking GoBots, who's going to read that? But it's almost like that Flintstones book that came out. You have like Lee Weeks doing Elmer Fudd.
Yeah, what was that?
Bizarre things.
Drawing that.
And it's just, I think that, like you said before, comics can be anything, and these ideas are so obscure and so beautiful in what they are. And yeah, it's odd because as we get a little older, and I mean, you're still so young. I don't know if you don't have to share how old you are, but I think a lot of people are quite surprised at how young you are with how adept you are at what you do. But as you grow older, you tend to get maybe a little more quote unquote sophisticated in your comics tastes. And then all of a sudden something like GoBots comes up. And, myself, and I haven't read it, but, books like that, you find yourself, I'm in the comic shop. I'm, 36 years old and I'm buying a GoBots comic, and it's interesting because it's just these ideas are put forward in different titles, just different creative things in such a cool way. And I think those are some of my favorite books to pick up right now are the oddball ones that are such an insane idea. You can't even believe it got past the pitch. But it's so like even that Flintstones book, and I'm drawing a blank on the creatives behind it, but there's the vacuum cleaner is a little, I can't remember if it's a brontosaurus or something, but there's this whole sequence where it's having this like existential crisis. And I'm just like, this is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, but it's also awesome. You don't even really notice how much you're enjoying it. You're just so captivated by this bizarre thing. Yeah, and that's probably like you said with Sholey and GoBots like that. I haven't read it, and I don't want to compare two books, that are probably quite different, but I just have that general view of things like that. And like you said, comics can be anything. I think that's why it's so awesome.
It was just the perfect example of what you could do with anything and make it something really cool. Like you could take the lamest idea, and if it's done with a unique way, it could be cool. It like you were asking, what characters would I want to tackle? It doesn't really matter so much. I would try any character and try to make it my own thing, and I always think that's some of the coolest stuff in comics. The stuff it's not very unique. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's just not getting my attention. That's obviously not good, but I don't know. I just remember that day I walked in. I wasn't looking for it. I just saw it on the shelf. The cover, the way it was drawn, the way his layouts were, the way he was drawing. He hand lettered it. And he had this crazy idea behind the whole story, and he made it good, in my opinion. Not only was it unique and weird, it was also good. And again, this is just my opinion. We all have opinions. That's all it is. And none of this is truth. It's just what we think. So, but yeah, if anyone's seeing this and you haven't read that, check it out. You might like it. If you like weird, unique stuff, give it a shot.
Yeah, and well, no, and I usually, and we're coming up on that hour mark, so we'll kind of close things out here. But I was going to put you on the spot with the recommendation, but you kind of beat me to it. And then that's a really good one.
There you go.
I think it's something that kind of left my. At one point in time, it was something I was going to pick up, but
I don't have it nearby, but that would be my recommendation.
Okay,
it came out a couple years ago, but still worth checking out, or get one of his other books.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, cool, guys. Matt, always a pleasure chatting, sir, and really grateful we got you on here.
Yeah, and thanks for having me on.
As I mentioned to you guys last night, I'm hoping to do more, do a couple of these a week, trying to bring more content your guys' way. And, I always have a ton of fun chatting with these guys, infinitely talented. I'm grateful every day for it. But yeah, I think, and as I mentioned, if you're just hopping on now, we are going to have Matt's work available, Freak Pages, upon Static's release. And So Static is released when, Matt?
End of April. I believe
End of
it's
April. Okay.
April 26th.
Okay.
Yep. In comic shops. And then bookstores May. So
yeah, because I think if you Google it, I think the first thing it takes you is to like Amazon, and I think they have the May release on there.
okay. Yeah, comic shops it'll be April, end of April.
So
and
cool.
Also just want to say thank you to anyone who picked up Crimson Flower today. Really appreciate it. So
awesome, and it's a killer book. I won't brag for the 7th time about how I got to read it through the original art, but that's a big thanks to Matt because he hand lettered all those pages, which is just phenomenal for someone to be doing that in 2021. I love it. Absolutely love it. So
cool.
I didn't get to enjoy Bill's colors yet, but I will read it with the colors tonight. But yeah, so guys, hit me up. We're going to have some art available from Matt. Unfortunately, Crimson Flower's gone. I'll kind of make a more public announcement later, but grab Crimson Flower, follow along, and there'll be lots more coming from this guy soon. It's going to be a big year for Mr. Lesniewski. So thanks, guys, for chiming in. Matt, always a pleasure. And
thanks, Cam.
I'll pester you enough that we'll hopefully get you on here again soon.
Alrighty.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.